Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Never Open Podcast, the podcast open to everyone, especially, I don't know, the Big Lebowski. Why not? My name is Luke. I'm your host of the Never Open Podcast, and with me, as always, no, take three. Damn it, I've lost the mojo. Hey, it's Mr. Andy. Say hello, Mr. Andy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh my goodness. So, yes, I know, dear listeners, there's been at least 2 New Japan shows on, and we're not talking about those because I've been busy and I've got to catch up. But it has been a while since I've spoken, at least face to face, with my man, Mr.
Eye
Andrew.
to eye.
That's right. I'm looking right in your eyes the whole time.
Don't do that.
Yes, and I was like, never realm? Question mark. And here we are. I kind of needed to do that as well sometimes. There's a couple of times I'm like, let's do a never realm because it's something I really want to watch. And it's usually like something you've recommended. And I'm like, man, he's going to keep asking me about that. I need a giant kick in my butt to get this done.
A giant beaver-sized kick in the butt?
Yeah, that's right. And I was like, all right. And Charity and I watched hundreds of beavers last night. Now, I'm a little disappointed with everybody I know because this, apart from you, because I'm assuming you only found out about this movie recently.
I did.
Because what's it, 4 years old or something crazy like that?
I thought it was from last year. That's what I thought. But
all right. Well, I don't care if it was from 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, or whatever. I should have been aware of this, but yeah. But I don't know, because it's just like this, it's so unique and all that. I want you to intro it and talk about it a little bit more because like you're the guy. It's just like, Luke, come on, man, you gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, well, I was in the, this is pretty podcaster way to find out about something. So yeah. I was in the Red Letter Media subreddit, and they were talking about, this is weird because it's like I kind of recommended 2 movies to you, but I was like, this is the one. Nirvana, the band, the movie, or the show, the movie is what they were talking about. And someone's like, because it's a really funny, clever movie. It's really smart. It's really fun. And it tells a simple story that is like just great. And it has some stunts and things in it that you're like, how did they do that? Is this real? Like, and I thought, and somebody in the comments was like, yeah, that's just like Hundreds of Beavers. And I was like, oftentimes when I'm interested in something, I want to know what, other people like that is like it, and I was like, well, let's check out Hundreds of Beavers. It's nothing like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, nothing at all. In fact, I start watching it and I'm 5 minutes into this thing, maybe 10 minutes into it. And I'm like, I knew the runtime was an hour 43. And I was like, how are they going to do this? Because it is a cartoon. It's like a live action, cartoon with like video game logic and maybe, some like old timey silent movie kind of shit going on in it as well. It's like kind of a combination of those 3 things. It looks like if you saw just a scene of it, you'd think this is garbage. What the fuck is this? But it is one of the most visually impressive movies I've ever seen. And not only that, it looks like the people that made it had so much fun making it, and you can feel it through it's a great movie. And Luke, what was when you start? Because I didn't tell you anything about it. I just said it's kind of like a cartoon movie or something like that. What did you think of it when you start watching it?
Sometimes you get a movie recommend, and it just like the concept or whatever, it sounds so bizarre that I don't even watch a trailer for it because like I kind of, all right, I want this to kind of to hit me. And dude, this is like it's like Warner Brothers, old classic Warner Brothers cartoons mixed in with you've started a video game. Oh, you've lost the instructions? Oh, well, guess now you're going to have to experiment and figure out the logic and like the mechanics of this game. which also kind of has that vibe of those old cartoons. It's all in black and white. The visual effects are amazing, but what makes them amazing and pop is the fact that they're like, we'll never have the budget to animate all of these animals. Fuck it, beaver costumes, everyone, raccoon costumes, like even the fish are kind of like sewed on kind of fish, someone's made fish out of like they look like fish cushions really, and then the birds and things like that, and intermingled with that. It's all in black and white too, so it's I guess easy to hide wires and things like that. Plus, I think it's
green screen. The whole thing's got to be green screen,
mostly
right?
The movie's mostly white anyway because of all the snow and things like that.
Except at the beginning. So.
Yeah, and I had that same thought. I'm like, hour and 43. Somebody's got to how is this? But if you've ever played a video game where you start off and you learn all the mechanics in this area, and you're like, wow, man, that was fun. Yeah, that's the starting area. The game's just opened up now. It's like when you start playing like I don't know, San Andreas, and you're in this little area. Little do you know that it's like 4 times the size of that map, and there's a whole bunch of other shit you can do, all that kind of stuff. So it's at some point, I don't remember where, but at some point I stopped thinking about how are they going to do this, and just trusted them that they were going to do this, pull it off, and just ramp it up, and then ramp it up, but also as they're ramping it up, keep that video game logic. So they never change any of the rules. They keep all of the rules that they set up, even when they build on them, like a good video game would. And you will see the main character do what so many video gamers would do, is like, what if I tried this with this? Oh, I can do this. Genius. And like the easiest example would have been like every time he goes woohoo or something like that, a woodpecker comes and gets him in the face. But hang on a minute, there's got to be other ways I can go woohoo, and that'll lead to all sorts of other things happening.
It's like there's a bunch of Rube Goldberg, like mini Rube Goldberg machines that like traps. There's all these crazy traps that he sets. But one of the major keys that we haven't mentioned yet is that there is maybe 2 or 3 words of dialogue in this entire movie. So there's no dialogue. It's all, show. There's no tell. Every once in a while, there's a little tell, but they do it in a way where like you just see a picture of something. And you see what's amazing. There's a part where he looks at a map. This is very video game like, where he has a mini map with like actual like mission markers and stuff that he puts on it. But at one point he's looking at it and he's got his thumbs over certain things, and then he lifts them up, and we know what he's thinking. It's like it really takes you in the mind of the main character, and it's a slow build, and as you get it, like it just ramps up, as you said, and by the end it is this insane thing that like all kinds of crazy shit happens at the end that is unforeseeable.
Yeah, you won't predict any of this movie. No. I get to, and I feel like it's earned. So at the start of the movie, he's shit at everything, and by the end of the movie, you've seen this guy do trial and error and just kind of work everything out. He does what I do sometimes, which made me laugh. How you open up a video game app and you're just like, there's too many markers on this. Is there a function where I can just be like,
erase them all?
Yes. I need a function that just shows me where the shops are if I'm playing Grand Theft Auto or something, or something that just shows me where the next mission is. Just that, please, because there's so much shit on this map. And he gets this map from another guy who's like he's like a master trapper, which he will be by the end of this movie, I guess. And he doesn't understand any of it because it's just so complex, and all the font is like really tiny, and it's like covers the whole page. So he just wipes everything off and starts again really simply in ways that he'll understand and follow it. And I was just like, yeah, I have been there, my man. Yep. I love
It,
that. I
the
fucking loved
movie
it.
starts with this really cool like song, and you're not sure what it's about, and the song's just kind of like about having a good time, and all these people that seem like they're maybe Germanic, like kind of people, maybe, I don't know, or like Nordic type people. What do you call that when you're from like Sweden or something like that?
Scandinavian?
Yeah, there you go. It seems like that. They're that kind of people, and we find out that they are kind of in the Minnesota area or thereabouts,
Yeah.
right, in the United States. And it's clearly in the 1700s, 1800s, and there is this little society built around this cider place, this apple cider place. And I think our main character is the owner, or at least works there. And
Yeah.
through this tragic turn of events where he thinks it's his fault, right? He like follows a beaver up, that he sees the beaver is fucking with some of the wood that's holding up these giant barrels at the top of the hill full of cider. And it turns out that, yeah, the beavers have been eating that shit, and the cider rolls down, and he rides the giant cider barrel down the hill and destroys everything. Even the apple trees catch on fire. It starts snowing, and he's buried in like 100 feet of snow. And that's the very beginning of the movie. We see him, have to start from nothing. It's great.
Look, I don't want to mention too much about it, just because it's like, hey, anyone who's listened this far or watched this far on the YouTubes, go watch this movie and come back. Apparently, it's on American Tubi.
It's on free on YouTube with ads too, by the way.
There you go. And if you use Brave
channel.
Browser,
yeah.
And if you use Brave Browser, there's no ads at all.
That's right.
Hey, man, they should give me at least $5, those motherfuckers.
I mean,
but there's the I really like the American Indian guy, because he's just watching all this going like, yeah, all right, this is amusing, this is fun. But he has one of my favorite scenes because, all right, all the big animals, they're all just people in costumes, and he's the only one in the whole movie that rides a horse.
Yeah,
and it's two dudes and a horse, and he starts riding it, and it falls down.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, it's absolutely freaking. It's
the horse is funny because that's what's awesome about the movie is that it's self-aware in those moments without taking you out of the movie. Even though it's revealing to you that, yeah, this is obviously two dudes in a costume. Look at this. It's this. And you're just like, but that's part of the logic of the movie, that the main character reacts to things like that. My favorite relationship is the relationship between him and the guy who owns the trapper sale place, the merchant guy. He's the best character in the whole show. Or the whole movie. He's protective of his daughter, who is trying to entice the main character, at every whim, but it's just like a video game where the dad is marching around, and every once in a while he comes around to peek, and then you gotta hide, right?
You even got the pricing for things is very video game as well.
Oh yes. How many dead heads, basically. But this guy, the trapper, merchant guy, he has a gimmick that is amazing, and it is so pro wrestling. So much about this movie is just like pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling is like telling a story through movement, and motion and violence, right? That's exactly what this is.
Oh yeah.
And this guy spits towards a spittoon. He is chewing tobacco at all times. He spits, and he always misses the spittoon, right? And at one point, the main character uses that to his advantage by putting the spittoon in front of his face. So it won't, so he can't spit at him. He's thinking he's protecting him, but it misses him because the guy can't.
He always misses.
But at the very end, it all ties up because he ends up, the hero conquers all, and then we think that the lady's going to kiss him. But no, it's the trapper guy, because there's a character that the trapper guy really loves, and that's the master trapper you talked about before, because he brings lots of pelts and he wants him to marry his daughter. But, that guy, has a problem, and I want to talk more about that guy in a second. But the guy goes in for a kiss on the main character and kisses him, and then the main character spits the tobacco out, and it goes right in the spittoon. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Roll
it turns
credits.
around and it says the end on the back of the spittoon. Fucking A. That was amazing.
Yeah. And that's like after this big crescendo that even brings something else back from the start, and that's he's running on this huge boulder or huge snowball full of pelts. Apparently, it makes sense if you watch the movie. And rather than destroy the salesman's building, he manages to stop it right beforehand and all that kind of stuff. So he even has temptations of like, ooh, the beaver stole some of my cider. He's like, should I? No, I shouldn't. Should I? Oh. No. And at first, when I first saw him, because it's a sleigh, the dude's got a beard. I'm like, what? Did they just go Santa with this? No. This guy's a trapper, like the best trapper there is.
Yeah.
And their dogs like pulling it. And there's one scene where in the front of the camera is our guy and the master trapper going, hey, here's the map. Look at that. You see the sleigh, and in the background, the dogs are doing stretches.
Yes, they're always doing funny shit during the whole movie.
Oh, and there's another scene where they're all having a break, and one dog's taking a piss while the other dog's sniffing its butt, and they're all people in dog costumes. So it's just fucking ridiculous and amazing. And like, there's all sorts of just like amazing little details. Like if there's they use piles of shit to capture animals and things
one
like
of the
that.
baits, yeah, is the pile of shit.
And just like, wouldn't there be lots of flies around and stuff? Yeah, there is. And so like that, if you ever have like some kind of weird, like not just internal logic, but like even realistic logic, where's all the flies around this shit? Like, just wait. Like they've thought of all of these. They know they're making something dumb. I say that, but it is kind of dumb, but amazingly clever. But what makes it so good is like they remember all the tiny little details. Someone's there, like they're all there being like, oh, we can't do that because remember we set this logic up here. Oh yeah, but so now let's do it this way instead, and it fits the logic. That's how it makes me feel like they've thought of all the little kind of details. Like I'm sure if like there's some major mega nerd out there who could watch this a million times and be like, well, actually,
I don't know. I think
I couldn't find it.
nerds would like.
I wasn't even looking for it actually. Like I was just like, I just had this thought of like, they're doing it. Meaning like how do you get over an hour and a half of this? This is like half an hour minimum, right?
Well, and the first act is like 5 minutes long, and the second act is like an hour, and then the last act is just this insane explosion that happens for a half hour, 40 minutes. It's insane.
The beavers are chopping down all these trees, and in the background, while our guy's like,
to?
Yeah, he's just like, what are they doing? What's he building in there? Like the Tom Waits song, and I'm like, maybe that's just a gag or something. You know, they're building that in the background. It's just a gag. Yeah, it is just a gag, but it's not just a gag. It's a fucking whole joke book that goes all Temple of Doom and shit, but in kind of, like you got the cart race, instead this time they're on logs, they're jumping on logs. I'm like, oh my God, this is it's
There's a lot of references to other things. You mentioned the dogs doing funny shit in the background. At one point, they're literally playing poker, like in the famous painting. So there's all kinds of shit, and it is Looney Tunes. Some of my favorite stuff is when the main character is about to succeed, because he is a loser for like half the movie, and you're just like, when is this guy gonna win? And he'll get close to winning, but he gets outsmarted by animals, which is also, disheartening for him. And he knows it. He's bummed out, but he'll get close to winning. And then something extremely violent happens to him. Like he'll step on a pine cone and it goes through his foot. And he reacts, with a scream that is, like, it's almost like that thing where they'll do where it's like a guy screams, then you see the city, then you see the state, then you see the, it's like that. They do that kind of thing, but it's like this hilarious picture, or like, where his face is just like that with all these crazy electric things going off in the background. And it is so funny. And the reactions of the animals are awesome. There's one beaver who falls down every time he sees, or no, it's a rabbit. It falls down every time he sees him, and that comes back and happens a few times. I think I get now why someone compared this to Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, because that is why that movie's funny, is because of the details. That's why it's funny, is because in the first half hour of the movie or 20 minutes, it's setting up everything that's to come. And it is, you could watch it 50 times and still pick up on shit. Now I get it. I kind of understand that Redditor, who was very smart.
They do exist, smart Redditors. I hear.
I
know. Now, yeah, it's what a way to find out a movie. The fuck is he talking about? Hundreds of beavers. Oh, yeah.
Great title. The title gets you, right? You know, it's like one of those titles you're like, I don't want to know what a movie called Hundreds of Beavers is. Because I was picturing like Meatballs or something like that is what I was picturing. You know, some kind of summer camp, you know, like tit movie is what I was kind of like.
Orpheus or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? How is that like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie? I got to find out. So, you know, I did. And I really like this movie a lot. What was your favorite Looney Tunes gag from the movie?
I need to say, like, if he was just going to be Elmer Fudd or Yosemite Sam the whole movie, wasn't going to work.
Right.
The fact that he builds up and he gets a tiny, progressively bit better each time until
he becomes
he gets to the end of the video game and he's got all the power ups now. He's like, yeah, I've got this. Let's go. I felt that big time. This might sound lame. You just got me on the spot. Luke, what was your favorite? Look, one thing it made, I know this made Charity laugh. The pine cone thing made her laugh every time. Because she's
it was so awesome.
Because she's like, Luke, why can't he just yell into the hole? I'm like, yeah, I know. But if you're playing a video game, there's probably no button to yell. But if you attach the pine cone to your foot, you know, like, yeah, it hasn't got a real world logic. It's got a.
He's on a stealth mission at that point, right? He's trying to sneak up on a rabbit or something every time. That damn pine cone.
I love that no one really knows how to handle ice, and it starts with like you almost feel like the guy's on zero gravity in terms of how he has to get off the ice by pushing his things that way, so he goes this way.
Yeah,
and then he realizes his shit's all the way over there, so he slides right across, and then like. Him working out ice logic progressively so he can walk along the ice now and all the beavers can't, so they're running on the spot and not moving, and he's like conk
he's got him
conk.
See, he's outsmarting them now, whereas they were outsmarting him at the beginning. You know, it's great.
Okay, look, I'm cheating. The wolves, the eyes, so good,
kind of scary, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was legit. And like, all right, I'll do it now. My top one big dumb thing that I was like, okay, that's left field. Sherlock Holmes and Watson beavers investigating the murders of all these beavers, and then when they're showing their fellow beavers what's happening, it's completely wrong. But it's fucking hilarious, and I love it. So yeah, just the fact that those two exist and there's like a payoff, but you think that payoff is going to be them being highly intelligent, like, hey, I'm Sherlock Holmes, like, you know, I got this.
They're still beavers, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
It
turns out that beavers have this very human-like society, which is hilarious. So.
Well, what about you, man?
Well, I have to tell you about a bunch of stuff. One of my favorite gags, I think it's the gag where you start to get the movie, is that he realizes he can create a snowball. He's hungry. He's stuck in the woods. His fucking burned all the shit down. Like, no more apple cider, no more good times. He's just out in the woods. And he's like trying to figure out how to kill a rabbit so he can eat it and catch one. And he decides he's going to make a snowball. He's got he keeps making these like snowmen that are like, you know, like sexy rabbit ladies with their holding a bra. And the rabbits just walk up, and sometimes they're interested, sometimes they're not, just like real life, you know. Anyway, he figures out he can distract them this way, and he's going to roll a giant snowball down towards him, right? So he does it, he misses, right? And we see there's I forgot. There's this amazing shot where we see him, like the camera comes from his face, and we see him blow 3 holes into the snowball. And that's because he's going to bowl it, right? So he does it a second time, and this time his aim's on. He's got it this time. But there's 3 things.
Everything.
There's 3 things standing in the fucking snow, and it's like 2 rabbits and then the sexy rabbit, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And they both look up, and they're fine afterwards. And he just looks at the camera, and you're like, you know what happened, right?
Oh, it's exactly like that thing in a movie where there's a building falls apart and someone's standing there, and
Buster Keaton.
Was standing where the open window was. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It was a Buster Keaton gag, is what it was. It was great. Yeah. So you mentioned the wolves. So there is a scary element to I imagine little kids would love this movie, right? And this would be the scary part, you know? And there's these wolves that start attacking the master. Man, that master trapper doesn't know what the fuck to do with those wolves until, you know, comes time to throw down. Then he knows what to do, but he lets his dogs just get killed over and over again when he's like,
the last dog isn't playing poker anymore. He's playing solitaire.
Oh, yeah. See? It's so good. So, anyway, there's these wolves that are kind of like stalking them, right? And we just see them as eyes in the night at first. And it is terrifying. And when they finally show up, it's really scary. There is a scene where they get fucked up by the wolves, right? And they have to climb a tree. It's established earlier in the movie that our guys can easily climb trees, and it looks really funny when they do. But this was awesome. You got the master trapper guy, and he's reaching up, and we're like, the camera shot is from below looking up the tree as they're climbing it. And our hero's looking down, reaching out for a very important game item. And it is one of the most dramatic shots, you know, ever in a movie. It is so good. And like down below, there are men in costumes, in goofy wolf costumes, running around going, "Wow!" And you're like, "Holy fuck!"
The master trap is dead. What fucking luck has this loser got?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh my, yeah. And he's, dude. I also, like, Charity was just like, no, because the wolves all live in this cave, and the trapper lures all these beavers into the cave, and then he traps everyone in there, and it's just this giant punch on, and beavers are getting their fucking heads ripped off. Just think of that Disturbed song. Oh, fucking. There's no music like that. Just made my head just going like,
let
oh my
god, bodies hit the floor.
That's it. But, you know, and it's just people in costumes just pretending to fight, and like little styrofoam kind of bullets. Bullet stuffing will come out of like people when you rip their heads off and open them up and stuff.
It's so gory. Good. It's gory in a way that is kid friendly. Yeah. Like there's no blood, but there's blood. There's lots of blood. You know, like at one point our so the you said that guy dies, the master trapper guy, and so our guy wants to make like a cross to put, you know, and he's just got 2 sticks. But he's been watching these fucking beavers. So he decides he's going to carve Jesus and everything out of these 2 sticks. And he does it. But then he spits blood up everywhere. He does that several times in the movie where he just does something. And it's like a heroic deed. He just did, and he goes, blah, and blood goes everywhere.
He gets this tiny little knife, and you see him go whittling. And you think to yourself, all right, this guy's finally figured out spears. Duh. No, he's making fake carrots to lure the fucking rabbits. And then he's getting pissed off because the raccoons are now eating the rabbits, and all that's left is like a cartoon, like, well, they're essentially rabbit slippers, but with like a cartoon bone sticking out of them to indicate that like these rabbits are being eaten all the way to their feet. And I'm just, that is so, there's like a language to this movie I think like everyone can kind of get.
Yeah.
and pick up on and laugh and get like, I don't know if being black and white might be a barrier for kids, but
I
I
don't
hope
think
not.
so. Not in this case. It's got that classic movie music or cartoon music thing where the music follows the action, and when it's lighthearted, the music's lighthearted, and when it's serious, the music's serious. I love that. And speaking of action, the action in this movie is fucking
So
fantastic.
fucking good.
There are fights where it's just guys in a silly costume fighting with other guys in a silly costume just doing that. But the way they move the camera and the places that they put it and the music and everything that they've set up before make those fight scenes and stuff exhilarating and just it's great pro wrestling. This movie is fantastic at pro wrestling.
One of my favorite things you see in all sorts of media. This is what I used to see as a teenager or something in Married with Children all the time. It's when Bud Bundy, he's a horny, leery teenager. He's going to get his ass kicked a lot, but always he also gets picked up and thrown. And when he gets thrown, it's a dummy. So they do that gimmick in this movie. They just throw the costume that's just full of the bullets, right? Rather than like someone in the costume and swinging them around like they're the Incredible Hulk, hitting people and things like that. And I'm just like, dude, like I feel bad saying this. Like there's a KISS method to this. There's a keep simple stupid method to this, but that's just what you might initially think, because man, like there's like Sam Raimi-esque angles and visual extravaganzas and the way things are shot. Like this dude, these guys could already know if they ever want to just go from this to a straight up fucking horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'd crush it. Or make a fucking martial arts extravaganza. I know they'd know how to shoot that shit too. I'm like, and yeah, no, I love this movie. So we barely talked, Charity and I, the whole time. Like,
really?
Even me, who makes lots of comments and heckles things, I was just kind of like, my eyes were open, just being like, this is like a visual feast. And then a couple of times we'd have to go like like that, look at each other and be like our guy is hanging out with the girl he wants to marry and stuff, and the dad's not looking. So she's got a stripper pole out and just doing like a fucking modern day stripper pole, like with like modern day lingerie, and it's like,
and he's holding a knife and fork going like a Tex Avery cartoon.
I guess that's the only kind of like, you don't see any like nudity. There's no nudity, but she's in lingerie with the stripper pole. So but I'd say that's the only kind of risque, child unfriendly part, and it's only like 2 minutes.
And it's a play. It's obviously a play too. That's the thing about it. When I love that character, the girl, she's so funny because she's the butcher. So she is like juxtaposed with being the sexy lady, right? But she's also like constantly handling guts and like handing it to people and shit. It's so funny. I love it.
Oh my god, yeah. Just him opening up this heart-shaped thing, and rather than use the obvious bait hooks to catch fish, he gets the maggots and he puts them on his own makeshift hook and puts them in there. The way he creates kind of, I'd say that maybe the best game I can use to describe the mechanics that this guy uses to take things out, trap things, and all that kind of stuff is Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game, because that is like, I found it wasn't 100% to my taste. I think I like something a bit that has a bit more of a story. Even if I go off here for 20 hours, I still want to know that like there's some kind of rich story waiting for me when I'm ready to go back to it, and it didn't really have that for me. But the gameplay is, look, if you have this idea when you play that game and think, I wonder if that'll work, it does. And you'll see all these crazy physics things and things like that. So, it was just, that's the best. I think that's the best video game to describe the kind of traps and kind of devices he makes to get to places or to, oh man. By the way, him doing the hand solo at the start of Empire by cutting open that one of the beavers taking out its guts and getting inside it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Just to fool the other beavers, it's just look. This to me, this is. I'm hoping this is a triple R situation where I can talk about so much stuff that's in the movie, like triple R, and you're just being like, "What? I've got to watch this." And there's still things that I didn't mention that are just as good as all the thing I mentioned. Like
it's an hour and 43 minutes, and the whole
yeah.
thing is that. The whole thing are these things we're talking about. I mean, it's endless. You know, I've watched it twice, and I totally didn't catch the map gimmick the first time I watched it. Like, didn't catch that at all. And so this time I caught like and the whole thing where the trapper teaches him the like game mechanics of the world he's living in. You know, it's really great. It was awesome. He's like, listen, here's how you trap this. Here's how you trap that. But he also has previous experience. So that's that part I was talking about where he's looking at this piece of paper and he's got his thumbs covering up certain parts. But that's the previous experience he has, right? Where he lifts that up and realizes, oh, well, there's a way to catch the thing that then catches the animal, right? And I love that. Or he, like, one of them has the little bird, the woodpecker, because that was part of his whole scheme, right? What was the most diabolical trap?
All right. Now, by the way, I love that the trapper, the master trapper, he knows how to do everything except one thing, and that's what he will. That's what our guy will eventually do. He knows how to handle the walls.
Yeah.
You know, but the master trapper, he that's the only thing he hasn't figured out. But like, all right, well, they turn into fucking gigantic windmill machines, right? But sometimes he'll need to use the make the sound to get the woodpecker to come to.
I love that.
Peck that to get this thing spinning.
Yes,
and it's
that's
spinning,
my
right?
favorite one.
And you're just like, oh, now the beaver's not going to go where he wants it. But he's already made another one, which is spinning in the opposite direction that will push him. Just the beavers having oh my god, the beavers have a fucking. All right, it's not a diabolical trap, but they have a scoreboard in the snow, and they and a swing. So what they do, the beavers will swing, and when they're on the upswing, going back, backwards like that, they'll take their shit and they'll try to get the and our guy will land on that at one point. He'll realize he's there. He's like, no!
that is so pro wrestling, right? Dude. The guy who ends up in the hole that's going to end the match, or he's in the corner and here comes the boot. It's like that was so great. The selling in this movie.
Do you want Robbie X to move out of the way while Ninja Mac is flipping all the way up the thing? No, you don't. That would just be so like yeah. Of course, in real life, like none of that would ever happen anyway. But he could just like step aside. That's not fun. You want him to go, what the fuck, and be super impressed and say, that's the kind of, and I mentioned that spot because that's the kind of diabolical kind of shit that happens increasingly in this movie. How he gets away from the wolves is using the call and then kind of bungee rips his freaking way. He takes
he's got the ice.
My God. And that's the thing, like, this trap works. Now I've got an extra layer on this trap. And now I've got two traps that complement each other. Now I've got third traps that complement this trap that complements this trap. Now I've somehow got all these traps combined in order to do all of this. And it's just, while this is going on, by the way, and that's something I wasn't even sure they'd get there, but while all this stuff is going on, you just see beavers in the background building this huge like
what is it?
Beaver mansion, or it's like a big beaver city community or something like that. That's always happening somewhere.
They got beaver scientists and everything.
Oh my god, it is oh.
The beavers have all kinds of special powers that we don't know about.
No, there is a rocket scene that reminds me of like the Rocket
Prisoner.
Quest in yes, the Prisoner. It always reminds me of the Fallout New Vegas quest, Come Fly With Me, where you can help these guys.
It's a great quest, by the way.
Fly this rocket and do it normally, or you can just mash buttons and they just crash and destroy it. So, yeah, it's fucking great. And then they do giant Do you get Voltron over there? Even if,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Beaver Voltron or one of those Transformers, the Constructicons, where they all just combine to build this Devastator.
Constructicons. Wow, Luke.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Come on, man. I'm a
That's
child of the 80s. You
amazing.
didn't think I didn't watch
Yeah.
like fucking
Okay.
Transformers?
I was talking to Jamie Coy about this the other day, who is knowledgeable about such things. He's a G.I. Joe kid, right? He loved G.I. Joe. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get into action figures for long, but when I did, it was He-Man. I fucking
Oh,
had
love
I
He-Man.
had the He-Man stuff. Like I had fucking Orko with the ripcord. I had the whole deal, right?
He-Man. Yeah.
I had Grayskull. Like I had it, with the trapdoor and everything, That's it though. Did you also have Transformers? Because I never really got the Transformers are kind of expensive, I think, and I got too old. I don't know.
I'm gonna sound like a complete spoiled little shit because I was an only child till I was 12.
Nice.
So yes, I had Transformers. My Optimus Prime was made of fucking metal.
Okay.
Plastic shit. Because also, I guess if you look back, it kind of makes sense. Yes, I got diagnosed as an adult, but no, I definitely had ADHD as a kid as well, because like as an adult, I'll also be like, this is what I'm interested in now. This over here, yeah, I like it, but that's in the corner. So like I used to have like a weird, wild selection of He-Man toys, Transformers toys, couple of Ninja Turtles, like a couple Star Wars, a couple of different franchises and stuff. Like I wouldn't have a complete anything, but I'd have bits and pieces of stuff because I'm like, yay, playing with this is great. No, I want to watch He-Man now. Like I'm in more into He-Man.
Okay, so
He-Man
you
instead,
drifted, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
You drifted
yeah.
from fandom to fandom. What was your favorite?
In terms of toys, well, there's something cool about the Transformers because you transform.
I mean, they were awesome. There's no doubt.
If I was in my garage right now, I'd reach up and I'd pull him over. I don't have. It's not the one I had as a kid, but it is Cringer. But he's got a snarl on him because like I don't have the Battle Cat harness or anything like that.
Oh,
mate of mine saw it at a charity shop, and for a couple bucks, he's like, yeah, I know Luke likes He-Man. He'll get a kick out of this.
Is that the evil?
No,
Battle
it's
Cat?
He-Man. Cringer will turn He-Man. Adams.
Adam, right?
Cat,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, will turn into Battle Cat.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck about Prince Adam and his bullshit. I had Battle Cat with the fucking saddle, and I had He-Man and I had Battle Damage He-Man, which I think is a fascinating toy because it's like, how can we get heat on He-Man? You know what I mean? Because they never get heat on He-Man. Like, that doesn't happen, which just makes him kind of a shitty good guy, right? He just kicks everyone's ass.
Dude,
he's got the power.
They had to make him Adam for half of every episode.
Right.
Because otherwise he'd just be like, I have the power permanently and I'm just going to fuck you up.
I mean, I guess that's why Clark Kent exists, to get heat on Superman. So
they had to create kryptonite, otherwise
kryptonite.
Like, just do everything. Yeah. No, oh man. But I do remember, and I'm like, I'm in that early teenage phase of just like, this shit takes up a lot of room in my bedroom, and and we had a garage, that's yard sale or whatever, and I got rid of all these for cheap.
Oh,
and looking back, it wasn't kids who bought these. I remember someone older than me bought almost the entire fucking thing of Tub, and at young me, it was just like fucking sweet.
Fucking Jamie Coy probably bought it off eBay,
dude. Like I reckon to this day that dude still probably thinks about that score. I've had them for different things over time. Like, oh man, this rare book that I like for Doctor Who. I'm like, I found it for $3. Oh, yeah, there you go. Everyone's and I don't regret it because I love that feeling, and the fact that like, because of me, someone else has kind of had that feeling as well. Like, I felt stupid for a few years, but I've gotten to the point.
Nah, it's all good, man. You gotta let go of that shit. I can't even tell you some of the stuff I've sold. It's embarrassing, some of the things I've sold. So, it's upsetting. It makes me very upset inside. But those are just things, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean nothing, man. You
So
know,
if they're
family
that important to
heirlooms.
you, buy another
You know,
one. You know.
sure. Buy
It's
another unique item that is a family
oh
heirloom.
well,
Just
but yeah. Oh well, not all of them are worth as much as others. So
it's
like
true. It's true.
I sold off a giant load of comic books and novels and things, and just all sorts of nerdy shit, just because like I'm not living by myself anymore, and I was living
Yeah.
in a flat at the time, right? And like we got to fit all this stuff in. Like I'm gonna sell it all, big deal. And all the stuff that I decided to rebuy was the stuff I really liked anyway, and a lot of the stuff I don't have anymore was all of the in between issues, or in between the shit books. I'm like, I don't need those, but I have my favorites, and that's fine. It's good. So you can always kind of, and you got to have a bit of patience as well, because like I set a limit. I still play this game on not just eBay, but in life. This is my Doctor Who book limit. No, if it's $1 more than that, that's not how we roll.
Yeah.
And the collection I've kind of amassed, sticking to that, has impressed me. It's taken longer than my HD brain would like, but kind of had to teach myself that patience by gamifying it.
Man, gotta have a code. So
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That movie is absolutely incredible, and I would say it's probably the only kind of brand new thing I've been watching, apart from maybe Black Sails. We're up to season 2, and it's the prequel to Treasure Island, so it's not going for 100% realism, but it'll do things that'll surprise you, because you think Treasure Island, you think like this book that you might have read as a young boy or something like that. So you think family so you might think family adventure, right? No, this is like, it stars. So it's the same channel that gave us Spartacus. So, like,
no dicks, but lots of tits, right? Or is there dicks? I haven't seen any dicks in that show, I don't think.
In Black Sails, I have not seen. No, there's been maybe 2 dongs in.
Oh, so there is dicks. Okay, dicks and tits. There you go.
I've almost finished season 2. 2 dongs.
Okay,
but I've seen
1 dick per season, guaranteed.
Yeah,
by L-SJ.
That's right. But you oh, it's funny. Like I saw that. Like, why I changed it? I changed my Blue Sky handle to everyone, and Andy Standy's like, "Oh, okay," and I'm like, I get this alert.
I just said okay. That's it.
I get this alert on Patreon. You have been blocked by Smart Wrestling Fan.
Why? What?
I don't know. I haven't interacted or had anything to do with them for like what? How many years now? And
you can block people on Patreon. I guess that's important for the ladies and the men who get the dicks and the tits out, right? On Patreon. So yeah, I guess that is important.
I was just like, all right, well, you know what? I don't feel all that grumpy that these days anyway. That's where I got my nickname from. So I was like, yeah, I'll change it. But yeah, no, it was weird, right? I didn't mean to say that on the air
because they block you.
I don't know. I just thought, like, you know what?
That's all around weird.
It felt like, all right, they've kind of blocked me. I'm like, I've only got that. This felt like the last vestige of that kind of era for me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a pretty different person now. And I'm like, hey, I'm shiny. I'm over here. I'm doing this. And my dad and Michelle call us the Hyphens. That's our nickname. And I thought, yeah, I'll just do that.
So did they just start like a action figure based YouTube channel that reviews movies and does Doctor Who reviews, Fifth Doctor specifically? Did they just do that or something? And so they better block everybody that does the same thing? Is that?
Yeah, I know. I think I've told this story before, but like when before I started American.
Are we talking shit?
Yeah. Well, just before no, I'm not. I've not name called anyone. I've not said anything bad about anyone, and I'm not going to. But right before I started the other podcast I do remember saying to the guy who I still do the Doctor Who Book Club podcasts with. I remember saying to him, I'm like, hey, do you mind? Like, is this a good idea? And like everyone in the book group was like, not only is that a good idea, can we be on it? And they've all been on multiple times and stuff now. And they're all good mates. So I've had both experiences now. I've had the experience of hey, we're starting a wrestling podcast. Yeah, that's great. And then progressively, get squeezed out and ignored. And then I've had and now I've had the other thing of absolute, like, kind of, yeah, you can do this, Luke, and support and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice. I don't know. And look, throughout all that, all that kind of crap. Anyway, I got my Mr. Annie. I got there's Ian's around, Jay's around. Like I got a pretty good little group of good wrestling mates. Anyway, so like, yeah, I won in the end. I'm good.
I don't think we got heat. I don't know why we got heat, but I guess we got heat. You know what I mean? Maybe it was something I said.
Or something I said, because I was. Did I get too drunk on an episode and just be like, anybody, anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but no name calling, no shade. Like I hope they're doing well and all that kind of stuff. And
me too.
That just is what it is, man.
Big time of year, it's WrestleMania time. Luke, I watched part of WrestleMania, and I'd like to talk to you about a wrestler from WWE who's wrestled one match in WWE, who has somehow become almost mainstream over. Like there is a tough line. There's this like thick black line. It could be white, doesn't matter what color it is a thick, bold line in between the mainstream and professional wrestling. And every once in a while, a wrestler can cross over. Usually it's for something stupid or something terrible that they did, right? And recently a wrestler that I watched before he was anybody, Donovan Danhausen, also known as Danhausen, has become a super over wrestler in WWE because they figured out how to book him and they did it right. And I have to tell you something. So he's married to this amazing burlesque dancer that is like this beautiful woman. And like they have always seemed so happy and cool. And I'm pretty sure, like I'm 99% sure that WWE has hired her as well. And that she is filming all of his little videos that are on YouTube because they're constantly posting these hilarious videos with Danhausen just doing funny shit and just being this awesome character. And like, for example, they set him up in the Goodyear blimp because he's been demanding a blimp. He has demands, you see. Like he's one of the best pro wrestlers I watched growing up or going up because he became this character that doesn't really take bumps. And AEW had no idea what to do with him. They couldn't figure it out. And they just had him be a wrestler. This is not what this guy is, man.
You've got Mr. Backstage right here.
Yeah, it's fucked up because they figured out how to use RJ City right away. That's how you use Danhausen. How they're using RJ City. He's the same guy. It's just a different character. And like they couldn't figure it out with Danhausen, but WWE did. And he is super over to the point where he is like pushing on that mainstream wall and like kind of like reaching his hand through. And it is awesome. And I'm so happy about it. It's like, I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am about it. It is just because he's always been a cool dude. I've talked to him many times and like, back in the day, and he was always nice. I always pegged him as a really dumb guy, to be honest with you. It's just the way I thought he was dumb as bricks, but it turns out he's one of the smartest pro wrestlers, like period, of this current generation. And like, look what he's done.
Because like, if you can make a career in wrestling where you don't have to bump so much,
you're the best wrestler ever.
You're fucking smart.
Respect.
Well, hey, you and I love our bump machines. There's like that is what it is. Like we love it, but work smarter, not harder. Like some of these wrestlers will work out that I only need to do half of this stuff and it'll still kind of work and kind of pop. Danhausen, I don't even need to do half of this stuff. I can do half of this stuff. Yeah. WWE has always been very. It's half their show, isn't it? Like backstage segments, and things like that. Well, that's what he'd be perfect for, interacting with people backstage and
It's fucking great.
doing silly run-ins and
They're
stuff.
following the Hundreds of Beavers rules, because what will happen, like, here's a gimmick they did with him that was amazing, is that he's backstage, and he's got some beef with a wrestler doesn't take him seriously, so then he will curse them, right? And that's his like catchphrases, "You are cursed," and he does like the like sign language for cursed, by the way, which is pretty cool. And so he did that like in the ring area, but the wrestler dodged out of the way and it hit the ref, right? So he cursed the ref on accident. So later on, the ref's trying to count, and on number 3, his arm goes out, right? So then they have a bit later, and that fucks over the wrestler it was supposed to fuck over. So the curse inadvertently worked, even though it didn't. It didn't. It's really good writing. It's very Hundreds of Beavers. And then backstage later, you see like Danhausen's like, he comes into the trainer's room and he's like, "Oh man, that's on me. That's on Danhausen. Sorry, I was aiming for the other guy. I got you with the curse. My bad. You're no longer cursed." And the ref's like, "Arm feels better." And then they turn the camera back and Danhausen's gone.
Like Batman.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I'd take that a little further. I wouldn't do the backstage segment where the ref is uncursed until he's already reffed another match, and something happens to him in that match where he's like, he can't do the count, or he goes to do a count and trips and falls over or something.
But it has to be it has to fuck over a wrestler that's messing with Danhausen, though, because the curse has to be you see what I'm saying? So like, that's why it only worked once, because it was like against the Miz or one of his guys, and that is like who his beast with. Eventually he's gonna have an actual.
You never want to be one of Miz's guys.
Right. I mean, the Miz is a well-respected wrestler these days, believe it or not. But
look, I've always had a bit of respect for him, but yeah, you become one of his guys, and suddenly you're just going to be used as the
Wilma does not like the Miz.
No, he does not. She does not. The postie just arrived and dropped things off. I'll go out there and check it out.
Okay, here's my theory on that with dogs, right? So dogs, they have to protect the house, right? And there is an intruder every single fucking day, and it's that mailman, right? Here's a good girl. Here's a good girl. She's doing a good job. And so the dog has to continue to bark at the mailman because every day it fucking works. The mailman goes away, right? So if you don't bark like crazy, I'm pretty sure the mailman's going to come in and murder everyone if the dog doesn't do his job. So like, Wilma's crushing it.
Dude, I also want to know when there's people I don't expect.
Fuck yeah, you do.
Fucking around the house,
Might be smoking weed,
So I'm really that just told me the postie's been, and awesome. I can open up my package.
Uh-oh. What'd you get? Another a grim dark fucking
yeah, I got some Warhammer books. Yeah. Look, it's if it was just my addiction, I'd probably be, that'd be one thing, but Charity's been
dragging your loved ones in, huh?
Yeah. Pick your team, dude. Like, yeah, no, yeah. So, yeah.
Have you ever heard of a series of books called Locked Tomb?
No.
I think you'd dig that.
All right.
It's a grim, dark kind of deal,
One of the gentlemen whose grimdark 40K books I haven't read yet, he's passed away, but he has a fantasy book. He's Mr. Ian Watson. He might as well be. This fantasy novel he wrote is called, I can't remember what it's called. I'll send it to you. His name's Ian Watson, so you'd be able to figure it out. The title has it in the title, but the whole fantasy magic logic of it is chess.
Oh,
the rules of chess, kind of. I'm like, how would that work? And now one of these days, someone's going to bark. Wilma's going to bark because someone's just dropped off that book to me because I've ordered that. So, yeah.
Did you see the Netflix documentary about Magnus Carlsen and other guy?
Hans
Anal Beads guy.
His name's Hans Niemann.
Schroeder. Hans Schroeder.
I I haven't, but I did. I kind of know a lot about it already. So you feel free to spoil it. But since that's out, I'll find some way to watch it with Charity. She's interested tonight. But that's it is a very interesting story. And I remember when Hans first that the news came out when Hans just fucking smashed Magnus in that game. Well, Magnus, he doesn't have a history of doing shit like this, and not only that, I've seen him like clips of him losing games, and yeah, he's had a bit of a temper or whatever. But I've also seen him lose games where he's just like, nice, respect. And then you're not beating him that way ever again, like because because he's the final boss of chess, like that kind of thing.
He is a bunch of beavers stacked up into a giant beaver man walking around the earth. That's what he is.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's
only a rocket ship can destroy him.
Pretty much, think of the only chess player you can think of. Magnus Carlsen's better than he ever was, and it's not even close.
Bobby Fischer's a bitch. He's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a genius as well. But it's like science, right? Yeah, this guy was smart, and so was the other guys. It's like that Newton thing of I can see very far away when I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Which means I'm building on other people's knowledge and things like that. So, look, you could also argue that most of the top 10 could probably wipe the floor with Bobby Fischer today, because hey, and we've got engines that they could use to train and all this kind of stuff too. But yeah, the Magnus Neiman thing, I thought they were going to make a movie of it with Emma Stone or something like that. Apparently,
they might.
So it's funny too because I don't think any anal beads were ever used ever, and Hans is probably never going to hear the end of anal beads in the rest of his life.
That's shocking that you should make that claim. Luke, I don't understand. I'm a big believer in the anal beads theory, and I've tried it myself, and it works.
He did. I was wondering how Mr. Andy beat me so fucking resigningly in chess.
Do you remember right around the same time that happened, there was also a fishing tournament scandal where these people were loading up the fish with the lead balls in order to weigh down their fish?
Oh, yeah.
That was way less scandalous somehow. No Netflix documentary about the fishing scandal. That's bullshit.
How's this skinny fish weigh 300 pounds? What the fuck?
Yeah. What if the guy from Hundreds of Beavers had showed up and been like, yeah, that's like 100 pelts. You see all the eyes, and he just collected the eyes or something. I mean, there's got to be a way to cheat in Hundreds of Beavers too.
Oh man. Now that I've seen the movie, I watched it last night, and so I haven't worked it out yet, but I think I'm going to be disappointed when I look up the writer and directors and the makers of that movie and realize they might not have made another movie since.
Yeah, I don't think it made anything else. But what was the budget on that movie, Luke? How much money was spent on Hundreds of Beavers? I mean, not like outside the movie, because outside the movie, a lot of money has been spent on Hundreds of Beavers. But inside this movie world,
how much did it cost to make, you reckon?
That's what I'm asking. Yes.
I would have said maybe $1 million or something like that.
$150,000.
Fuck.
Micro budget movie. That's another amazing thing about it.
All right, I think I'm gonna go from having streamed it to maybe I'll.
Yeah, I might have to buy that one, right? You know what I mean?
Because that's respect.
It's also self distributed, so all money goes to them guys that made that stuff.
That's fucking fantastic. They deserve it. To me, those guys are as creative as the Astron 6 guys who do Psycho Gorman and Father's Day and the editor.
Very similar.
And I remember looking them up after I saw Psycho Gorman and being disappointed there was only 4 movies. And I'm like, really? Because yes, Luke, this movie's creative and clever, but also it's not an international blockbuster success, so they're not going to But having said that, every project they make is theirs. You know, like
plus,
yeah.
Luke, joy is fleeting. You know, true joy, true happiness is fleeting. It's the puff of a cigarette. You know, it's the drink of a beer. It's these things that happen in a brief moment, and you just have to accept it, and you have to enjoy them while they're happening. And I enjoyed Hundreds of Beavers. I wish that I've enjoyed Hundreds of Beavers in real life, but it hasn't been that many.
No.
So.
Yeah. Well, you know, you hey, if your guitar playing career kicks off, there might be thousands of beavers.
It's about to kick off anytime. You know, so I am old, and when like every once in a while I get the itch, I'm gonna go play in a band, right? You know, and I'll figure out how that works, and I'll go meet up with some people and jam. And the number one subject every time, no matter how old they are, and they're old, and they're like, okay, do you guys think we can make it? Like, are you fucking dumb?
No.
Like, what is wrong with you? No.
If you're a 40-something rocker, people are only interested in you if you've been like a 20-something rocker and a 30-something rocker.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Now a 40-something rocker.
or if you've joined Leonard Skinner. You know what I mean? That's the only reason they care about you. So, woof.
Twisted Sister needs a new guitarist for their tour.
Oh, man.
And yeah. That kind of shit. Yep, absolutely. Oh, my goodness. No. You know, it'll happen, man. Like, you know, I'm sure I'm sure like I'll become like a big black belt podcasting sensation. But you know, like I'm happy
podcasting. Is
that
the last belt, or
I don't know. I feel like that's the only kind of creative endeavor I do. So I'm like, but I'm happy with my however many listeners Luke gets. You know, it's like finding like it's like you ever found $20 in your jacket that you didn't know was there, and you think like. You don't think I found $20 in my jacket. You think, fuck, I'm rich.
I've gained $20, right?
I'm $20 richer. Fuck yeah.
That's right.
That's
fuck
right.
Everybody.
That's
$20. That's fuck you money, right?
Yeah, $20 is $20. Oh, can I just mention the bunny rabbit gimmick, right? There's one time it doesn't work. And it's because these two bunny rabbits are holding hands, and they're gay bunnies, and they're not going to pay attention.
Oh, okay, that's like, right. Yeah.
That's oh my god. That sometimes
and the main character learns from that, and he realizes that that's not going to work anymore. But that does come up in his trial versus the bunny. You know, like he has a trial, and it's hilarious because the sexy lady. Snowmen are on, you know, or like put up as evidence, which is hilarious.
So sometimes I feel like when we do a NetherRealm, I'll be like, I need a bullet point list of not maybe notes, but just things like to talk about. I watched this movie last night and I was like, nah, we're good. And if anything else pops up, yep. Oh my god. Can you seriously play anything off that? Oh my god.